Hi, my dear Piscean friends. So here is your yearly forecast for 2022. Now, I have made already 4 intense videos about the general influences of 2022. So I kind of recommend listening to those so you can actually put that into your relevant house. This video is going to be a little bit of a summary of those, but I am not going to be going into as much detail as I have done in those previous videos. So I will be putting the link for those 4 videos in the description box below. So check that out. So, and plus, if you want to gain a little bit of a better insight when it comes to your year ahead, then I recommend looking at your sun, moon, and rising sign as well. Typically, this video is prepared for your rising sign, but you can gain information from your sun and moon sign also. So, why? Because the sun might shed light on your life path and your career. The moon sign can give you information about your well-being, home environment, and your parental matters as well. But foremost, you need to listen to your rising sign as it is the heartbeat of the chart and gives general indication of the themes for you in 2022. Now, I have put plenty of work in these videos, so please show some appreciations by giving us a like or share the video with others, and also subscribe to my channel if you want to receive special content. Also, I've made a subscription plan for those who want to get weekly insights, additional weekly videos, or for those as well who want to be studying astrology with me. Then go and visit my website, AstroViktor.com, and then check out the subscription plans. I think it's brilliant. You will get free lectures a month, 1.5 to 2 hours long on various topics. So exciting. Now, we have had a busy year behind us. So I wanted to prepare these yearly forecasts well in advance so that you can get ready for the energies ahead of you. I hope this video helped you understand your year ahead, but don't forget to combine this with your solar return chart as well. I will be looking at the major planetary movements in 2022, especially Jupiter moving on the 10th of May out of your sign into your everyday resources, which can be quite beneficial for you in your financial department. Also, North Node will be moving into Taurus as well, which is going to be hitting your 3rd and the 9th house axis, and that's going to be starting on the 19th of January. There will be also 4 Mercury retrograde in 2022, so we will be looking at that. We will be having eclipses, 2 in Taurus, 2 in Scorpio, so that's something we should touch base on. And also you will be having Mars retrograde for 6 months in your 4th house, which might indicate some changes on the home front. Also, in this video, we will be looking at some of the solar return chart, and you will be actually having a stellium in your 11th house. So that's going to be quite a recharged house, and that's the house of friendship, long-term goals, plans, someone who might be able to help you to grow, but also this is something to do with your salary as well. And lastly, we're going to be looking at the Venus retrograde, which is going to be conjoining Pluto. So you might get pulled towards new people, and retrograde typically indicates that people get back into your life. So I think this year networking will be very important for you. Success is very possible this year, but through collaboration, social media, and it needs plenty of planning as well. And that's what really the Capricorn stellium in your solar return chart will be talking about. Now, Capricorn stellium is sometimes all about sweating and putting the hard work in. So that's kind of important to mention here. Now, Mercury retrograde, very briefly, will be triggering your 12th, 4th, and 8th house in 2022. So these are the psychological houses. These are all about dealing with emotions and fears. And of course, one of the Mercury retrograde might be actually important for you because Saturn is also transiting your 12th house. So that's something which we definitely going to be looking at. So, you know, last year, Uranus and Saturn were really aggravating your nerves. Probably somehow it stimulated you as well. You might have had plenty of new ideas, or it was all about knowledge, because Saturn Uranus really triggered your 3rd and the 12th house. And the 3rd house is the factual knowledge, the 12th house is the spiritual knowledge. And with that square, you could have been pulled into different directions. Now, the reason why I wanted to start with the Saturn-Uranus square, because of course it hasn't finished yet. We have been through 3 squares so far, but there is also one more coming up in 2022. So keep going with learning more. That's the 3rd house energy. It kind of wants you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and gather more facts, data, come up with some new ideas, maybe some type of business dealings. But also, Saturn in the 12th house says that you do need a spiritual download as well. You might need to be dealing with some of your inner monsters underneath your bed if you want to be actually financially successful this year. So that's kind of important to you. Now, what's going to be happening this year for you is, from a financial point of view, that you're going to be having Jupiter moving into your 2nd house in the sign of Aries. And that is actually very exciting, because what Jupiter does is that actually it kind of like has got this 12-year cycle. So for instance, it's worth having a look at where Jupiter was sometimes in 2000 and what was going on in your life in 2010. From a financial perspective, but also whenever Jupiter enters a sign, it kind of wants you to do a little bit of a decluttering. So decluttering around your self-worth, maybe, because it's going to be conjuncting Chiron as well in your 12th house, and that's going to be sometimes in June 2022. And then it might want you to be looking at your talents. It might want you to actually initiate one of your talents, which can become a business dealing eventually. So the first 5 months of the year of 2022, Jupiter is still going to be in your 1st house. And the 1st house is very much about how I look at the world, how I look at myself, and how I can actually put myself out there in the world with my approach. Now, Jupiter will be making some retrograde periods, and 28th of October, it will return to your natal sign, your rising sign. And then at the end of the year, it will be again going back into your 2nd house. So this Jupiter movement into your 2nd house could give some financial boost, or just the ideas. You might start a project, but it might be actually becoming fruitful for you sometimes at the beginning of 2022. I would call this Jupiter in your 2nd house as the land of opportunities in making money. But Jupiter is the planet of faith. So you must have faith in yourself. You must stay optimistic as well. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down for you 3 areas of your life, typically: the financials, the relationship, and a little bit of a health as well. So from a finance point of view, I know we have lived through very uncertain times where money was of utmost importance. So Jupiter moving into your 2nd house might be about finding a new source of income. And that should be one of your top priority. So for Pisces rising signs, it's all about planning to invest and somehow maybe having a passive source of income or earn through different type of streams. So, and then if you do so, actually, this could be bringing you some financial success. you might want to be looking at where Jupiter comes from in your natal chart, and that could give you some ideas where that growth can be coming from. Now, it's all about your effort and hard work, and that could actually help you to bring in some fantastic and colorful results as well in 2022, especially at the second part of the year. But from a financial point of view, Mars will be ruling your financial department. So Mars will be starting the year for you on 24th of January, when it's going to be entering Sagittarius, and that's your 10th house. So that's all about career aspiration. So it might be about the fact that, you know what, I want to be changing jobs. I want to do something for myself. I want to be finding a different type of stream of source of money. But it's going to be squaring your rising sign at the same time, of course. So that could show actually that we are going to be Mars will be in the sign of Sagittarius till 24th of January. Let me just correct on that. So it can be actually a very busy period for you. So be ready for that, because Mars might make you work extremely hard. Or it could be actually very good to have kind of a New Year resolution as well around work-related matters. This is what I would like to achieve, and I'm going to plan things out. Remember, Mars is kind of like the hero within us. So don't be a hero of working 24/7, because that could be a little bit of a challenge. But also, it's all about being at the highest point of your chart, around your midheaven, which can actually indicate that this month can be brilliant for you to achieve something which you have been dreaming about for a very long time. And that's the Piscean rising sign. Mid-February, Mars will be conjuncting actually Pluto in your 11th house, which is all about your long-term goals and pushing financial matters. This time around could be very favorable. Now, as I mentioned, Mars rules your financial department. So if you want to be making changes in your financials, or you want to be relocating, actually, it could be a brilliant, a great period of time for you. Don't forget, Mars will be actually sextiling your rising sign, where there is Jupiter and Neptune also. So Jupiter and Neptune is very much about dreaming big, and Mars gives you the energy for that, to actually manifest things. It makes you kind of like becoming a go-getter. That Mars in Capricorn wakes up every single morning to become successful. But Jupiter and Neptune wants you to have faith in yourself, but also paying attention that you've got enough clarity also, because sometimes with Jupiter and Neptune, like blind sheep, we can follow an idea which might not be serving us to the fullest. Mars will be actually conjuncting Saturn in April. So April might be a month when you need to be watching out how much money you spend. This could be about restrictions in your financial department. You might feel that I've put so much energy into a project and it's not going anywhere. Of course, Saturn is the ruler of your 11th house, which is also about your salary. So you might not see so much of a fruitful moment around businesses, around salaries. Maybe actually you're going to be having some type of arguments with friends, or it's also very possible that a friend of yours is going to be asking you to lend them money. Well, around Mars and Saturn conjunction, it's always very smart to be careful of how much money we're spending, because Saturn tells you that slow down, have a look at your bank statement, have a look at your spending habits a little bit, because Mars, depending on your natal chart, of course, but Mars, generally speaking, likes spending money. It's like the money is burning in your own hand. So be a little bit careful about that. But from a positive note, Saturn is something to do with crystallizing things. So it could be crystallizing your financial plans, and it might only be giving you a smaller reward in April, but in the long run, it could be very beneficial. So, and then as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this Jupiter will be actually getting into your second house, right? So Pisces, Jupiter has been on in the sign of Pisces since 29th of December 2021 till 11th of May 2022. Then it will be in the sign of Aries till 28th of October, when it goes retrograde on 8th degree on 29th of July, and then it's going to go back into Pisces. And then eventually it will be leaving your sign on the 20th of December. I feel like Jupiter is actually very good for you because it rules you, it rules your first house, and it rules your career department. So it could actually indicate that I can make money from my personal charms, or it could be actually an indication that your personality can shine through, which actually brings you self-worth, or it brings you financial security. And of course, it rules your career. So being in the second house, which is fifth sign away from your career department, it kind of indicates that, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur. So for you to become an entrepreneur this year is actually very helpful. So I feel like Jupiter is brilliant for you this year. It's going to be helping your financial situation, especially when Mars will be in the sign of Aries also, which you might be, which is actually going to be the entire June 2022. It's going to be starting on the 28th of May. If you are working in the corporate world, maybe this is the time when you actually receive a pay rise, or maybe this is the time when you should be asking for a pay rise. Because Jupiter in Aries is all about confidence. Now, this might be a month when you should be considering what I will be doing with my investments. I am going to be shifting my investments, or I am going to invest into something. Now, mentioning Jupiter. So Jupiter will be making that conjunction to Neptune in your first house. As I mentioned, Jupiter rules your 10th. So it could actually indicate this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that you're going to have a little bit of a confusion around your career, or you might be having a confusion around who I am, what I am destined to do. Especially that's true if your rising sign is between 15 to 25 degrees of Pisces. Jupiter already entered the sign of Pisces in 2021, around May for a couple of months. So it might have given you a little bit of a glimpse of what to actually expect in 2022. With the Jupiter-Neptune, I feel like you might need to retreat and contemplate a little bit on what you have achieved in your life, and maybe take a spiritual road to kind of improve your self-esteem. This is a very unique conjunction. The very last one happened in 1856. So it's a lifetime opportunity which you need to grab. It could be actually, as I mentioned, about confusion of, am I at the right workplace or am I not? But from a career perspective, actually it's falling into your fourth house, fourth from the 10th. So it might bring up questions to you that, do I do a job well? So you can have some type of insecurities around your position, but also it could talk about life and work balance, how I am going to be maintaining that. Mars will be actually transiting your first house in entire May. So imagine that Mars with that Neptune Jupiter is kind of gonna give you an energy boost to figure out who you are. It can actually make you a little bit selfish or greedy as well. So just watch out for that. Or greedy in a sense that, you know what, I have to figure out right now who I am. So I want to be having readings, for instance, or I want to be having some type of just stepping on a different type of road. And Mars in Pisces sometimes gets confused, or it gets a little bit frazzled overall, so we can be making wrong decisions. So I feel like this triple conjunction is all about, yes, making certain type of steps in your life, just gathering enough data as well at the same time. As I mentioned, April might be a little bit financially restrictive, but once the second house ruler is in your first, with all that Jupiter and Neptune conjunction, dream about big money, because the second house ruler in the first could actually indicate that I become a money magnet. Great opportunity to attract money. Play the lottery if that's what you want to do, but also just dream big. Yes, I'm going to be selling, I don't know, 10,000 tarot card decks in May, and actually you can actually achieve that. So with Mars, Neptune, and Jupiter conjunction, you can attract plenty of money. But with Jupiter and Neptune, we tend to be spending that as well in the sign of Pisces, because it's like the ocean, the sea. So money can flow out of your hand too. So I feel like you're gonna have to push the brake as well in that card a little bit, slowing down, and certain amount of your earnings should be put aside as well. So as I mentioned, Jupiter will be conjuncting your Chiron in your second house. And that could be talking about healing the body, thinking about what you eat, and how does your body preserve food. So watch out, because these Jupiter transits actually can bring you weight gain. So that's something just to be very mindful about. And for instance, once Mars joins your first or the second house, especially around, well, May, June, July, I would say, watch out for like stomach burns. That could be actually something or anything to do with food poisoning, how you handle food. So Mars, for instance, rules the protein. So probably while Mars going to be in the sign of Aries the entire June, probably you're going to need a little bit more protein. Whether you're going to take that from vegetables or what type of sources, it depends on you. But actually that could help your stomach for you. Diet might be very important this year. So with Jupiter, we can actually increase the amount of food we eat. So just watch out for that. But also it could bring you an increased need around the physical stuff, especially from June onwards. So if you want to be starting a diet, use Mars energy, because it is very good at burning calories. So compulsive eating and emotional drinking might be likely to ruin your health this year. So you're going to have to watch out for any type of addictions, because that could be detrimental to your health. But thank God you've got Saturn in the 12th house, which is actually sometimes comes up here as a fighting the inner demons when it comes to food. And also, Saturn might be telling you that find the root cause of that problem. Where is it originated from? What type of karmic experiences? So I think that Saturn can help to have a little bit of a self-control when it comes to your obsessions. Now, Mars, your financial planet, will be conjuncting your Uranus, especially in August. So your financials can actually boost from communication, social media, advertising, and PRing yourself. Remember, Mars will be sextiling your rising sign. Choose that date to actually have that kind of, boosting your business overall. Typically, third house is connected to air industry. So it's about teaching, it's about internet, social media, car-related matters. So if you are planning to sell your car, maybe actually this is going to be the month for you. Now, this is all about using your brain. This is about using your way of thinking, and that could be actually very enhanced, especially in August. I feel like with Uranus, which is representing changes, it could bring you a change in your financial situation. Whether it is positive or negative, it really depends on your natal chart. So have a look at if this Mars-Uranus conjunction is making favorable or less favorable aspects to your natal Uranus and Mars. But this is the month when Mars will be also squaring your Saturn. So something can slow you down in your ideas or ask you to step aside and check your long-term goals a little bit. Because Saturn square from the 12th house can actually lead to financial losses also. So slowing down in your ideas and not to be hasty about it can be very important. Also, 12th house is the house of expenditure. So how much money you spend in August might be very important. So ask yourself the question in August, where do I put my money? Mars will be retrograde in your 4th house. So Mars will be spending 6 months from 20th of August till 25th of March 2023. Will be retrograde from the 30th of October till 13th of January in your 4th house. So the question which might it brings up, are you planning to spend your money? Because Mars rules your 2nd house, so making money from property, or are you planning to spend some money on some type of reconstruction or redecorating your home, your homeland? Are you actually planning to make money through land, so agricultural type of stuff? Because this retrograde period might be telling you that this is a time to revisit that idea. It could also indicate that you're going to have to attend some family matters. Maybe you're going to have to deal with your father. Maybe Mars can actually indicate. Mars in Gemini is quite verbal, right? So it can bring verbal arguments with family members. But are you going to be planning to relocate? Or are you going to be regretting a move you made before and then you're going to start thinking about going back to your roots? These are typically the topics Mars will bring up for you being retrograde in your 4th house. Use this time probably to do some DIY work around your home, so you can do some refurbishment, a little bit of a decoration. Investing, Mars ruling the 2nd house, into your home and family life actually could be very beneficial. Mars also rules your 9th house, so the relocation is really much on the horizon. So also discomfort in family matters might be, or home environment, maybe some type of delays when it comes to the refurbishment. Mars is like the engineers and all these type of skilled type of manual workers. Maybe they're just going to screw you over. So you might need to be having a backup plan. Gemini, as in plans. So, but the good news is that Mars will be actually trining your Saturn in the 12th house, which says that you should not give up whatever the plan is, because maybe sooner or later, rather later actually with Saturn, but it's going to be happening maybe in 2023, March already. So from a career perspective, so that was really much of your little bit of a financial overview, as well as a little bit of a career, but adding to the career department a little bit more, I feel like it's overall a career progress for you. So it's all about expansion, business expansion. It's all about executing one of your plan. It's all about having the right mindset to actually grow in your career. Making things right and doing what you always wanted to do would take you to new heights, and it can enable you to resolve any type of problem which you might be having actually in your career department. Maybe with Jupiter, it could actually talk about asking for help or consulting with others who might be a little bit wiser than you in certain type of areas. But it's all about how I am going to be climbing the career ladder and how I will be progressive and excellent in the field I choose to do. Now, from a love perspective, at the beginning of the year, not much going on in your love life. If you are single, you might remain single. But from April onwards, once Venus enters Pisces, and then we're going to have Jupiter there, and we're going to be having Neptune there, actually someone can enter your life. But Venus, while it's going to be going through the rest of the signs, you might feel actually a little bit of an ups and down in your love life. But also the end of the year looks very promising from a love perspective. Of course, Venus Venus is the secondary indicator of your love life. You might want to be looking at the Mercury periods also. The very first Mercury retrograde will be happening at the beginning of the year, from January 14th till 3rd of February. It will start in Aquarius and then it ends in Capricorn. That's not necessarily affecting so much when it comes to your relationship department. The next one will be May 10th till June 2nd, which is going to start in the sign of Gemini, and then it ends in Taurus. So that's not really affecting your relationship department, but the next one, yes. So from September 9th till October 2nd, the Mercury retrograde starts in Libra and then ends in Virgo. So therefore, it's going to be ending in your 7th house, meaning that this might bring you some type of challenges when it comes to the partnership, but also this could indicate that, you know what, we want to be moving, we want to be going to a bigger house, bigger flat, and then you are going to be considering that. So that's actually very possible also. So from a relationship point of view, you know, Jupiter will be in your 1st house. So that's the only one which actually can give you a little bit of a relationship boost at the beginning of the year, especially if Jupiter comes from Virgo. So those people who were born with Jupiter in the 7th house in the sign of Virgo, that's actually very possible. Maybe what could be bringing challenges in the relationship is alcohol, food, indulgence overall. So it is very much about giving you opportunities for self-development in the relationship, or maybe just letting go of some type of attachment and seeing the opportunity for growth in the relationship department. So that's going to be actually important for you. Now, yes, so, but Jupiter, sorry, not Jupiter, Uranus will be actually covering 10 to 18 degrees in your 3rd house. And this is in the sign of Taurus, which actually could be just bringing you revolutionary ideas, or it could be bringing you some great communicational downloads as well, especially if your rising sign is between 10 to 18 degrees of Pisces. Pluto will be reaching up to 28 degrees from 26. And then at the end of the year, it will be 27 degrees. It will be affecting the most if you have got your rising sign between 26 to 28 degrees. And actually, that could be a game changer in a sense that your long-term goals might be actually changing significantly. There is definitely a communication healing to be made. And definitely something to do with your financial worth, your net worth overall, because Chiron will be covering 8 to 16 degrees in your 2nd house. So we'll be actually retrograde on 11 degrees. So especially if you have got planets in Aries from 8 to 16 degrees, then you want to be looking at what that planet rules in your natal chart, because there needs to be some type of healing to be made in that department. I also feel that those who were born between March 12 to March 16 might be a little bit frazzled about who they are or who they want to be, and kind of like they are needed to have a little bit of a spiritual awakening in a sense. I mean, Neptune will be transiting your sun sign if you were born between March 12 to March 16 the entire year. And that could bring confusion about who I am, what road I should be doing. So that's definitely, again, affecting your career, your life path. But the sun rules your 6th house. So those people need to be watching out for their health issues also. That's true for those who have got their rising sign between 20 to 25 of Pisces, or if you have got your moon around that. The eclipses will be taking place in your 3rd and the 9th house. So this is all about study, learning, travel, meeting new people, kind of like exploring new horizons overall, or meeting people who might take you to new spiritual heights. If you are planning to do some type of job which is related to teaching, healing, counseling others, then it might be telling you that it's time still to have more knowledge, but in a way, something which is related to practical knowledge. So you might be having the theoretical knowledge because the South Node is in your 9th house. Now you have to make a practical turn around that, but it also could indicate plenty of mental or physical travels as well. You know, these nodal axis change for you is all about asking the questions from the right person. So it's about finding the right teacher for you, finding the right guru for you, who might be giving you the best possible advice for you. So overall, this is kind of an exciting year. I think it's more about actually growth rather than anything else. I feel like these eclipses actually gonna bring you an energy where you want to be changing something in your life. Maybe it's a change of place of living. And I usually recommend with eclipses that ensure that you don't resist these changes. About your 3rd and the 9th house matters. Go with the flow. It's about everyday mind versus your intuitive mind. But the 9th house is all about the integration of the factual data as well as the spiritual data. And the North Node in your 3rd house is all about, yes, I'm going to be making a practical way of using all of that. If you are struggling with legal matters, then I feel like these nodal axes will be talking about standing up for yourself and standing up for your own rights, especially once Mars is in your 1st house or Venus is in the 1st house. So Mars will be in your 1st house, actually April, May time, so does Venus. So it might be, if that's the case, then those are the times when actually you might turn things around and actually you can win. Of course, the 2nd solar eclipse will be having plenty of Venusian themes, which is happening around the 28th of August. It will be actually conjuncting Venus. So that's very possible that this is the time when I want to be having all those travels and moves, or this is the date when I want to be studying something, which might actually lead to some type of romantic connections with others. I feel like it's a very stimulating for you. Possible relocations are on the horizon, networking on the horizon, meeting new people who might be actually supporting your journey significantly. I also believe that from an education point of view, it is actually very promising. So if you have got a course to finish or you want to be taking courses, actually this is a brilliant time. Know that there could be some type of criticism or excessive worry about about your studies, or you might feel actually restricted by your studies, but I think overall it's going to be supporting your career plans eventually. I feel like all these eclipses, all the 3rd and the 9th house energy is all about encouragement and motivation to drive you forward, to eventually make money out of it. Once again, the nodes will be in your 2nd and the 8th house axis in 2023, sorry, the 2nd part of the year. I feel like all your desires kind of can sail through easily this time around, but there needs to be an element of a commitment overall. Yes, so pretty much this is what I wanted to kind of share for Pisces in 2022. So I hope you have liked this video, and if you did so, please subscribe to the channel, share that with others so they have got all the necessary information. Thank you everyone, and see you very shortly. Bye-bye.